My name is Jed Munson. I'm a junior here at Wesleyan. I'm originally from Madison, Wisconsin. I grew up in a family with a Korean mother, and I grew up surrounded by the language in that way. And I spent a lot of time in Korean churches and sub-communities. My interest in the language developed late in high school, actually, and that was kind of when I think I took ownership of my interest in the language itself, rather than just kind of using it as a mode of communication, specifically with my mother. The idea of fluency has been on my mind, I think, throughout this process. As I am half Korean, my father is a white American. What standards of fluency actually entail, and if I can claim a sort of cultural fluency even without linguistic fluency. I went abroad with the National Security Language Initiative for Youth with the Department of State. It was a 6-week intensive acquisition program at Seogang University, and I think the most important thing about that experience for me was the fact that I was restricted from living with my family. Having to live with a host family kind of made me understand the language outside of the context of my family, because I used to think that I was only Korean, informed specifically by that dynamic, but here I was learning things that weren't necessarily a part of like certain dialects or vernaculars that my family used. So I am pursuing a career as a writer. Fortunately, I have a family that is incredibly supportive, I think, of literary arts and such. My sister is currently at a literature translation institute in Korea. I have considered working or using my Korean to a similar capacity in the future. I think whereas you can passively float through a lot of different disciplines, language is something that you really have to engage in. It requires, I think, a reversion to some sort of childlike state. There's no hiding, I think, disfluency when you speak. There's nothing you can do to get around that, and so I think your level and your understanding of a language is immediately apparent as you speak. I think learning to grow as a language speaker, a language writer, reader, with that on display is a strengthening experience ultimately.